r/AskReddit. What are you 99% sure of? That all lyric websites just steal from whichever website uploads the lyrics first. Several websites will share the exact same lyrics with one another, not uncommon if they're correct lyrics, but they'll have a word misspelled or misplaced, or the lyrics will just be off entirely. I heard an interesting theory that we each are experiencing our own universes and everyone reading this is in my universe. But the me you're reading is the me of your universe. And to go even further, each of us will never experience our own death unless it's absolutely avoidable, thus we all will, in our own universes, will likely die of old age. Whether or not it's true is largely irrelevant. The steak place near my house that never has customers, and always is open as money laundering went to an Italian place once like this. We walked in to try something new and the person who came out of the back was genuinely surprised. He seemed to be going through the motions of getting us our menus and to our seats with one eye on us as if we were up to something he didn't trust. A few people came out of the kitchen while we were there and were chatting us up about how we came to be there and if we were enjoying our meal. We were the only diners in the whole place. Years later my husband and I are driving by and he points to the place and says, "You know, I used to service the pool table in there and I'm 99% sure they're a front for something." So I give him a wide-eyed expression and tell him about eating there like 7 years prior and how I felt the exact same way. We're both now 100% convinced it's a front for something. There's an Italian restaurant owned by the mob. We used to go there all the time and my mom didn't tell me until I was older. It's an old grey house with a tiny sign in a window and they take reservations only. If you don't say the right name they say they're completely booked. In the house, there's a main room with a few tables and the rest are in private little rooms all over the house. One day I noticed my mom said her name is Karen M. I asked why she used a fake name and she said the meatballs and tortellini here are amazing. She said she went there the first time using the fake name because her coworker told her about it and she just wanted to do something badass so she went to see what was there. She pretended to be an Italian mobster for years just because she loved the tortellini and meatballs. I'm 99% sure that the 1% doubt I have is grossly misjudged and should be a bigger percentage. That's paradoxical. There's life on another planet. Maybe we'll never find it. Maybe it's the size of a bacteria, but there has to be another planet with life. This one actually fucks me up thinking about it. I should be 100% sure. But the fact that there's absolutely zero evidence or signs is unsettling. That American financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Edward Epstein didn't commit suicide at the Metropolitan Correctional Center based in New York City. I read a theory that I'm 99% sure of. He's not even dead. His money and girlfriend both disappeared before he died. Epstein is living on one of his pedo islands as happy as can. Suffix ito in Spanish means little. So, therefore, Dorito means little Doro, implying the existence of a legendary, and giant snack called Doro. That if I get a date, GF I will somehow fuck it up. Dating and relationships aren't about the other person. They're about how you relate to the other person. You can't ever have a good relationship until you have a good relationship with yourself. I know, I sound like a stupid self-help guru, but it's true. You need to be comfortable with yourself before you can have a good relationship with someone else. It took me decades to learn that. Be selfish for a moment. What do you want? Be realistic. If it's not right, then bounce. Work on yourself. Remember, you don't pay your counselor to help you or listen to you be a little bitch, you pay your counselor for honesty. You pay them for the privilege of that outside looking in perspective. You pay them to tell you the things your friends won't. The important things. Getting a counselor or psychologist is not embarrassing, it's brave. Be one of the few who can admit to themselves that I need another perspective. Hey, I know, let's pay a pro for an honest opinion. And how about not getting bent out of shape when it arrives? That one day, life on Earth will end suddenly and abruptly, and there will be abso-fucking-lutely nothing we can do about it. Life on Earth will cease to exist, and all the grand and amazing things we have done here will be forgotten. Things as big as world wars will be forgotten like a sand grain thrown into a desert. There is no afterlife. Our minds still function for a certain amount of time after death. We slip in and out of dreams as the last few synapses send electric signals across our brain. At some point our brains decompose to the point they can't function at all. Anyone who tells a story about how they were dead and experienced a form of the afterlife didn't really do so. Their brain remained intact, hence the fact they are still capable of being conscious. Sleep tight. That there isn't a God or divine creator. I was raised religious but since left that behind for a number of reasons. But there is still a part of me that thinks maybe there is a deeper meaning to all this. My door before I left my house. The 1% makes me go back to see if I'm right. Donald Trump abuses stimulants like Adderall or oversees Sudafed. He talks like a speed freak, he behaves like it, he thinks like it. There's no fucking way he isn't on something. At least in public. He may not realize he's doing it, but he ain't sober and hasn't been for a long time. He makes a big talk about not being a drinker, and I'm willing to believe him. But I don't believe he's never had a habit, and I don't believe he isn't actively abusing a stimulant. Could even be a halfway legit prescription written by an unscrupulous doc. If he was on a street corner, dressed like a real person, I'd assume he was either mentally challenged or a coke head. Could be he only does it to control anxiety on stage. But he's doing something. I think he's developing dementia myself. His nonsense word combinations are getting worse over time. That you have reached the end of this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos.